Hello viewers, welcome to this video lecture series on C programming. In this session I shall be discussing on break statement. So normally break and continue, these two statements we are using inside a loop. What presently in this session I shall discuss only about the break statement, and in the next session I shall discuss regarding the continue statement. An early exit from a loop. So loop, whatever number of iterations you are supposed to specify, that many iterations you will be carrying out. But an early exit means what? Without completing the number of iterations that were mentioned in the loop, you want to come out. So that time you can make use of the break statement. So the break statement helps in terminating a loop, while the continue statement helps in terminating the current iteration of the loop. So presently you don't worry about this continue statement, just I have written here in comparison with the break statement helps in terminating a loop. Now, and also you should remember some points here. When the break statement present inside a loop is executed, it terminates the loop and the program control is transferred to the statement present next to the loop. So this statement I shall explain you with an example only. I'll write a program and explain the use of the break statement. Remember one more line about the break statement. When a break statement present inside a nested loop is executed, it only terminates the execution of the nearest enclosing loop. The execution resumes with the statements present next to the terminated loop. So in this second statement, second point, what we are telling is, whenever we are having a nested loop is what? One loop within the other loop. Whenever you have a nested loop and if you are using the break statement, the innermost loop, okay, whatever is the innermost loop, only the remaining iterations of the innermost loop will not be executed, whereas it will continue with what? The remaining statements that are present next to the terminated loop. So this, and the third point is, there is no constraint about the number of break statements that can be present inside a loop. So here I have shown you few illustrations wherein I wanted to tell you where this particular statement break can be introduced in the program, or the where that break statement can be written in the program. Let me explain the concept of the break statement with a program. In this program I am just writing one for loop, okay, and inside the for loop I am using one if condition followed by the break statement and one printf statement. So what is that we have observed in the definition part of the break statement? Break statement helps in terminating the loop. In the for loop we have written I equal to 1, okay, then the condition is tested, 1 less than or equal to 5, it is true. If it is true, you can see the next statement is what? If I equal to 3, so 1 equal to 3, it is false. If it is false, then it is not going to come out from the loop, because this break will terminate from the loop only if I equal to 3. At present I is not equal to 3, I is equal to 1. So 1 equal to 3, it is false, it will not come out from the loop, it will print. That means break will always what? It will continue with whatever statements are written here. So it will print the value for I. So in the output, the first number that gets printed is what? 1. So at present I value is 1, so in the output I. Then it will continue in the for loop, then increment the value of I by 1. Now I is 2. Whether 2 is less than or equal to 5, yes, it is true. If it is true, the next if condition is tested here. 2 equal to 3, no, it is not equal to 3. So simply print the value of I. Now the value of I is 2, it will get printed. Next, the for loop iteration will continue. It will increment the value of I by 1. I becomes 3 now. 3 less than or equal to 5, yes, it is true. If it is true, it will enter the loop and then it will check here. If condition we have written 3 equal to 3, this is what? If 3 equal to 3, if it is true, you have written the break. So this is where the break statement I wanted to tell you, break will terminate from the loop. So if it is terminating from the loop, and it will come out and execute any statements if present here outside this loop. So here in our program we have not written any statements after the loop, just it will come out from the loop and the execution stops. So in the output only you can see the numbers 1 and 2 printed, because you have written a program in such a manner. You have put the break statement where? By using this if condition. You are saying that when the value of I becomes equal to 3, come out from the loop. So break, as I said, it is used to terminate from the loop. Though we had written a for loop to print the numbers from 1 to 5, but we have put here one if condition. Whenever I value becomes equal to 3, break. That means you are not going to continue printing the remaining numbers from 3 onwards. Only the first two, that is 1 and 2, gets printed. This is how the break statement works. So you can make use of the break statement not only in the for loop, in the while loop also you can see while condition. you have certain statements in the body of the loop. In the body of the loop only we are specifying one condition, if condition. When that condition becomes true, then break. So break will transfer the program control and it will print the statements that are present outside the loop. Similarly, you can use in the do while also. You have started with this do statement, you have entered the body of the do while loop. In this you have specified the condition. The condition is true, it will break and it will come out and print the statements present after this. You can use the break statement in the for loop also, as I have shown here in this example. For, okay, you are specifying the initialization, testing and increment, entering the body of the loop. Here you have put one condition, just simply I have written error. You can write down if condition also. If the condition is true, then it will come out and continue from this. Even you can use the break statement in a nested loop. Nested loop is what? One loop within the other. Here I am showing with the for loop. So here we have the outer for loop and the inner for loop. So whenever break statement is used inside a nested loop, it will come out from the innermost loop only, or the loop in which the break statement is included. This is what point number 2 written here. When the break statement is present inside a nested loop, it only terminates the execution of the nearest enclosing loop, and the execution resumes with the statements present next to the terminated loop. So here in this illustration we can see that you have this innermost loop, okay, and you have the outermost loop. The break statement is used inside this innermost loop. So whenever a break statement is used in a nested loop, it only comes out or it terminates the loop in which it is present. So this is present in this innermost loop, it is only coming out from the loop in which it is present, and it will continue with the remaining statements that are present after this loop. So this is the use of break statement in a program. Hope you find this session useful. If you find it useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.